Hello everybody and welcome back to the ADD workshop. Today we got a Sharp Roku TV. Not sure exactly of the model of this TV. Find out when we flip it over. A tenant at the complex that I work was moving out. They said this TV didn't work. So she was going to throw it out. I told her that I'd keep it if she didn't mind, and she didn't, so I kept it. Brought it home, plugged it up, put a flashlight on it. I could see the menu and everything in it, so I know that the majority of the TV is good, and it's just not a display on it. So we're gonna see if we can figure out possibly what's wrong with this thing and see if we can fix it. If not, I can throw it in the trash like was planned on to do before I asked to keep it. So without further ado, I'm going to flip this guy over and start taking some screws out. You know, that's the first step of everything on this channel, is to take all the screws out of something. So here we go. We're going to flip it over and see what we have. So everyone can see that. I mean, it's pretty good from what I can tell. We're going to get some tools. We're going to start pulling all these screws out and see what we got here. Alright, when I'm working on electronics and stuff, this is a pretty big kit from Harbor Freight. It's actually a security bit set. It has all your little Allen wrenches and all your little screws that deal with your security bits. You got your little holes in there. You got your posi drive, Phillips, and things like that. Very cheap. It's only about $10, I think, which is an excellent price. But I will say this: do not use them for just everything. They will strip out. They're about the cheapest, softest bits I've ever used. But when it comes to electronics and things, is when I pull this set out, because it has a lot of different bits for your security bits, like a lot of these TVs and stuff will have, which you'll end up needing them eventually if you do this kind of thing. And this is a good set to get. It's cheap, and if you don't do it all the time, they'll last you forever. So alright, we got all the screws out. Now, on previous videos, if you've watched of mine, I've said, leave the screws in the holes so you don't lose them, and you know exactly where they go. In this scenario, don't do that. There's not a lot of plastic to hold on to the screws, so to be honest, the more screws you can get out and hold on to before you take this back off, the more screws you'll have to put this thing back together, because they're going to go everywhere when this thing pops loose, more than likely. Alright, but we got all the screws out, so let's pop it open and see what the inside of her looks like. Gonna work our way around here. When you start doing this, don't go all gung-ho and just start yanking on it, because a lot of times you've left a screw in and you don't realize it. Alright, well, it's coming off easier than I thought it would, to be honest. I thought it was gonna fight us a little bit. Alright. Ta-da! And that's all there is to it, folks. That's all there is to a TV. Now, let's see what we have here. We got some speakers. That's okay. That's where our inputs come in, so I'd imagine this board handles the inputs, and then outputs to here, which our LEDs are down at this bottom, which this looks like maybe an analog receiver, and then sends to the brain of the TV, I think. If anyone has a better suggestion or knows exactly what it is, that'd be awesome. But I'm going to say that with still seeing the menu, it was no light to it when I held a flashlight to it. The buttons still worked, and the menus and all that stuff worked, which is telling me that this board, I think, is good. It has to be. I mean, it's the brain of the TV, and it's doing what it needs to do. This, I believe, is just maybe something to do with an analog signal, something, signals. So this little guy looks to be what drives our LEDs down at the bottom. So I believe this guy is what would be bad in that scenario. So let's, yeah, with not truly knowing electronics and how to troubleshoot this, I'm going with my best ability to just troubleshooting with what it's doing. So this is the board that runs the LEDs. So let's get these little clips off of here so we don't mess anything up. Now these little ribbon connectors, you have to pop them up. The black part of the ribbon, of the connector, actually swings upwards. I've broken a lot of these trying to slide them out. They actually swing up, and they just pop up, and the little ribbon comes right out. Alright, now I've taken a look at these, and they don't look too terribly bad. They look perfect, so there's no burnt connections or anything. So I'm going to pull off this connector here. When you get to a circuit board, set the drill aside. Okay. Oh. Now I don't see anything noticeably wrong with the board. This is the adhesive adhesive tab down here, right here. Just helps with vibration. But I don't really know how to test a circuit board. But you can see our model and everything, what kind of control board it is. I'm going to actually go Google this, and if I can find it and it's fairly cheap, I'm going to go ahead and order this, just because I'm not going to do any better troubleshooting it than I have already, simply because I can't test any of that. So we're going to take a quick intermission here, and I'm going to go look up these numbers, see if I can find a replacement, and possibly order one. So I will see y'all back in a moment. Okay, everybody, a little snap of your fingers and a week of mine time later, and we have ourselves a circuit board. Of course, I've set it down somewhere and can't find it. Here we go. So I got on eBay. I found this guy here. This is our new board. Found it for $7. It's a used board. Guy says it was a working TV with a crack screen, and so yeah, I took a chance on it. It wasn't much. It was about $6 or $7. I can't really remember. So we're gonna install this and see if we got lucky, because it was worth it to me to spend $6 to see if I can get I don't even know how big this TV is, a 42-inch or so TV, and if I spend $6 and it doesn't fix it, that's a good enough gamble for me. So here we go. We're gonna install this board here. Now I gotta remember, yeah, it goes on this way. You gotta remember, it's been a week for me, and y'all were just here. Alright, so we're gonna slide this guy in. There's some little alignment nubs down there. Find our screwdriver and our screws. I think these are them, little bitty guys. seems like them. Alright, so these ribbon connectors, you gotta make sure you get them lined up and pushed back as far as they'll go in the connector. Otherwise you won't be getting a good connection and no work. So I didn't think about it ahead of time and put the board on without pulling these back, but there's a little gap below the board and the chassis of the frame. Alright, we'll start with the big guy that's nice and easy, and of course just push him in and he clicks. And then our ribbon connectors. Alright, so you got to swing the gate upwards, have it open, and then you'll see a little channel for these guys to ride in. And you got to kind of bow the connector up a little bit. Now don't bend it too much if you can avoid it. You're going to have to do it a little bit to get it in there. You're going to have to bow it up a little, you know, and get it to go in. But you don't have to do it too much, and as long as you do it evenly all the way across, you should be okay. Alright, that's snapped in, and they put a little black line in there so you can see that it's gone in far enough. Alright, that's one. Let's get our other. It also helps you to make sure they're even. Alright, looks like that's all the way in, and you just swing the little gates down and they snap. You'll feel a little snap with your finger. Alright, that's all there is to it. So we're gonna put the back on and plug it up and see if we fixed it. Okay, so we got all the screws back in and got the little power cord plugged in the back. I got most of the lights turned off. I'm sure you notice how dark it is. There was a horrible glare across the screen. It's very dirty and I need to clean it. But we're just about to test it and see what happens. I'm about to plug it in. Alrighty, here we go. Plugging it in. And we do have a red light come on over here. I'm not sure if you can see that. Yep, red light came on right there. See, I'm gonna leave it on the there. Let me see. Let's see what happens when we hit our power button. Gotta find the power button. Probably right next to all the power. Okay, here we go. Cross your fingers, everyone. Alright, red light. And nothing. It's very anticlimactic. This thing isn't focusing too well. Alright. Little flash there. We may be taking her back apart, everyone. Alright, everybody. Well, deduced it down to this wasn't the driver for the LEDs. This is the main power supply, which goes out and gives power to our LEDs. This is the signal for the LEDs, I believe, that gives them power. So what I'm going to have to do is now order this board, and we can see where all this heat happened here. But I'm going to order this board if I can. If I can't, I'm going to chunk it and we'll be done with this project. If I can get it, I will probably make a follow-up video and post a little me replacing this board and turning it on. But as of right this minute, she's broke. So you know, it was worth a shot. I was going to chunk it if it didn't get fixed, so it still could get chunked. So we're going to see if we can find this board, and I will see y'all on the next one.